State your name.
Thank you, members of the committee. Chris Alexander, Louisiana Citizen Advocacy Group. Thank you so much for having me. You know, this is a 45-page bill, and looking through it, there's very little question that this vests even more unilateral authority in the Secretary of State, not only with regard to the procurement of a $100 million voting system in Louisiana, plus $1 million or so yearly maintenance fee, but also the management, security, and warehousing of those systems after they are purchased. So between House Bill 577 last year and this bill, HB 842, there is virtually no oversight anymore in this state over the Secretary of State with regard to this securing of our vote in Louisiana. The State Procurement Office, this bill grants her the authority to negotiate without regard to any particular methodology. Basically, complete freedom to negotiate with whom and how she chooses, no requirement of transparency to the public and how this process is occurring, and no requirement that the Office of State Procurement ultimately approve and authorize this purchase. I need to call your attention to what happened several years ago when former Secretary of State Kyle Ardoin attempted once and probably twice to award a contract to Dominion Voting Systems, and the State Procurement Office looked at that and specifically suspended that negotiation and prohibited that contract because of irregularities that were occurring within it. That's why the State Procurement Office exists. That's gone under this bill. Where is the public transparency when it comes to the purchase of new electronic voting systems whose source code, the brains of that systems, are not even available to you? Representative Larvadain, if you were to say, I want to have a forensic expert go and look at the source code of these electronic voting systems to make sure that they are secure, that they can't be manipulated or have not been manipulated, you know what they would tell you? Representative Larvadain, I know that you oversee the security of the vote in Louisiana and you're responsible for the citizens of Louisiana, but that's proprietary information. Sorry, we can't let you look at it. Think about that. You're going to go buy a vehicle and they say, it's a great car, but you're not allowed to look under the hood. That's what's going on here. And I need you to be very, very careful. So what I'm going to ask, just take a minute, if you are inclined to support this legislation, then I would request an amendment, and I can request it through Representative Johnson, Representative Schamerhorn, or perhaps another one, Representative Newell, perhaps. The Secretary of State will be responsible for disclosing to the public all negotiations between any vendor, how the contract was reached, the process whereby that contract was awarded, all negotiations, all communications. And secondly, the Voting System Evaluation Proposal Committee, the basis for whatever they recommend to the Secretary of State, which under law she's not required to follow anyway, but we would want all of the information about those negotiations. And thirdly, this is important, a requirement that the technical specifications and the source code of any vendor to whom we award this contract be put in escrow for an independent third-party forensic audit of that source code, subject to the oversight of the House Government Affairs Committee. Those are the amendments that we would request in this. Otherwise, we will absolutely oppose this bill. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Chris.
Thank you.